All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Odine Fishing. Chilling here at the boat garage. Okay. Nice icon, huh? Look at this other one. So this video is about my summary and kind of my review of how the Iowa Bass Nation 10K went yesterday. And I hope at this point a lot of you guys know that I'm somebody that doesn't hold anything back, but I will preface anything that I say in this video is not meant to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm a very direct person myself. I thrive on feedback. It's not the end of the world to do something wrong or not do something as good as you could have done it the first time. But had a little situation Friday night before the at the meeting, and they got about 20 boats in, and they realized that they were not actually drawing, like the randomizer was not actually working to draw the boats, and that was the expectation that was set. So if you're gonna have a draw tournament, don't get 20 boats in and say, oh, hey, we're sorry, the randomizer isn't working. We're just going to take off in the order that you registered. So, me being me, I pretty much lost my mind. I went up to him because nobody else was. Literally, there were 280 people here. 280 people at this meeting, and nobody wanted to go up to him and say nothing, which is fine. Why I'm here, okay? I can definitely tell you that I definitely have a lot more friends than enemies here in this fishing, business and this fishing game. But something needed to be said, and I went up to him, and I told him, I says, hey, you have everybody's information as far as like getting in contact with them. So why don't you just text the people that you said had, their boat numbers or whatever already and say, hey, there was an issue. We're going to make it right. Well, luckily, about an hour later, we got a text saying that, hey, there was an issue with the randomizer. We're going to do the draw correctly. And the reason I think that happened was because you don't get any coverage in Cabela's. You don't. Even outside, we were right under the canopy. So they made that right, and I I told everybody, as far as with Bass Nation, the next day, hey, thanks for making this right. You made the right decision. Okay. However, when you have 140 boats at the Washington Street takeoff and nobody knows what boat is going by check-in, and we're doing this little situation where I'll show you. When you're in your boat and you're getting ready to take off and you're doing this to try and see what you know, you don't want to get in front of somebody that's ahead of you and vice versa. So, you know, you had a megaphone. Why didn't you just call out boat numbers? You know, that would have allowed the anglers, because it was kind of tight in there. And I say kinda. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, we used to fish a Charger Owners Tournament, and there was 300 plus boats in that tournament on Lake of the Ozarks. Very, very fond memories I have with my dad that I'll never forget. But so that was something that they could have certainly done better. I also know of a situation where basically, and I'm not going to mention any names just because that was the expectation that I set of if I was going to make a video about it or not. And I know I'm not big time or nothing. You know, I just do this for fun. Okay. But they were in the last 5% of the whole field. And it's because whoever was handling, I'm not even going to blame it on a specific person even. But whoever was handling all that thought that they had registered at the last, you know, the day of the tournament or the day before, which the cutoff, I think, was like to get in the draw, I think was Monday or Tuesday. I could be totally wrong about that, but I know that it was definitely before Friday. And when, you know, the two guys that ended up getting fucked, okay, they're great guys, very well respected. You know, when you're fishing and stuff like that, there's not a lot of people, I guess, from what I'm discovering, that don't want to say anything, you know, if they, you know, were wronged. But, you know, here's the deal. Even if you did say anything, okay, were they going to roll out another draw a third time? They could have. But in reality, I think that, you know, I think if things get a little bit more consistent in like what I'm doing, it might be something where I want to like volunteer and help out with this stuff, because I have literally been fishing tournaments for 25 years. And I know that I have kind of taken a hiatus. You know, kids will do that, and questionable life decisions will do that. But all in all, I thought that it was a tournament that could have been ran much, much better. You know, if it's Iowa Bass Nation, you know, the federation, they're supposed to be kind of the stewards of the sport in Iowa. And I definitely think that the tournament could have been ran a little bit better. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world that I'm saying the tournament could have been ran better. Okay? So if you're somebody that is associated with Iowa Bass Nation and you're getting upset at this, not sorry, okay? That's how people get better. That's how you get better. So I absolutely had a great time, and I will be fishing it next year. I feel like the Prairie pool is a really, really dynamic pool. You can get a lot of different stuff up there. But that is just my review of how the Iowa Bass Nation 10K went. Congrats to Taylor and Tristan Wilcox. You guys really whacked them.